Never Stop Learning, week 256. We're going to take a quick look at the Sharpen Tool in Adobe Photoshop CC 2015. Alright, so the Sharpen Tool is basically the opposite of the Blur Tool. What you're going to be doing is painting in contrast, which is going to add focus to specific areas in your document. Alright, the way you activate the tool is you come over here to the left in the Tools panel. You're going to find the Blur Tool. Just click and hold, and when you release, you get this little flyout menu. Then choose the Sharpen Tool by clicking on it once. Alright, now I got this tiny little brush here, and I'm going to increase the size of the brush by holding down the Control and Option key on a Mac, then click and drag towards the right to increase the diameter, and go towards the left to decrease the diameter. If I go down, I'm going to increase the hardness, and if I go up, I'm decreasing the hardness. Alright, so something like this looks good to me. Alright, now that I got my brush set up, I'm going to come over here to the top. Now, the strength set to 50 is great. That's how it is by default. Now, you're going to see that this is a strong adjustment, so you might want to back off on that in certain situations. Just to the right of that, I have this feature here, which is going to sample all layers. I'm going to turn this feature on by clicking on it once, and over here in the Layers panel, I'm going to create a new layer just above my background. That way, my background will be protected. Just make sure you have your blank layer activated. Alright, now I'm ready to start sharpening some of this image. Alright, I'm going to sharpen this meatball by just clicking and dragging. Alright, now over here for this squash blossom in the front, I'm going to click and drag. Alright, now over here for this champagne glass, I'm going to make this brush a little bit smaller. So I'm going to hold down Control, Option, click and drag towards the left. Now if you're on a PC, it's going to be Control, Alt, right click. Alright. Now I'm going to paint in with my Sharpen tool right here. All right, we got some more detail in there. That looks great. Now, in a normal situation, I probably wouldn't have sharpened it that much. Remember, subtle is the way to go. But I want to make sure it shows up in this video. Over here in the Layers panel, this layer 1 is going to have my sharpened portions. Background is still going to look the same. All right, so I'm going to toggle the visibility for layer 1 by clicking on this once. Now you see the before. Alright, notice all those extra little details are gone. Alright, I'm going to turn on layer 1 again. Now you see the after. So you're able to see some focus in different areas. Again, I probably wouldn't do this in a real retouch situation because the meatballs are further behind these squash blossoms. But I just wanted to show you guys that you could introduce some sharpness in here. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of this layer 1. Now over here at the top, all the way towards the left, I'm going to right click on this icon and reset the tool. Alright, that's going to bring it back to how it was by default. If I come back to that same icon and do a regular click, this is where I'm able to manage my presets. Once I get this tool working exactly how I want, I could click on this icon and create a new tool preset. That way I'll be able to use that same Sharpen tool again and again. Alright, so I'm going to tuck this guy away. Just to the right of that, clicking on this, I'm going to be able to make some edits to my brush. Here I can control the size, hardness. I could turn this into a calligraphic brush by just clicking and dragging. And down over here we have some presets. If you want to add some additional presets, just click on this icon here once you get your brush exactly how you want it. Alright, I'm going to tuck this one away, and just to the right of that, this one's going to bring up the brush panel for me. Alright, clicking on it once, brings up the brush panel. You see some similar options here, but you have a lot more options right over here in this column. Alright, clicking on that same icon is going to dismiss that brush panel for you. Alright, while you have this tool activated, you could also right click on your document and make some changes to your brush in here. Hitting escape is going to get rid of that for you. Back over here at the top in the options, we have mode. Now this mode is going to be your painting mode, and if you click on this drop down menu, you could switch from normal over to darken and lighten, which is going to be great for your shadows and highlights. And if you want to make changes to your color and luminosity, you come down here to this bottom section. You have hue, saturation, color, and at the end luminosity. Alright, next we have strength. Again, you want it set to 50% by default. Go ahead and give that a shot. If it's too strong, you might want to back off on that. In some situations, you're probably going to want to increase on it, but for the most part, 50% is a great starting point. Alright, we already saw this one in action over here. This one, when you turn it on, it's going to sample all layers, and that's great when you're working with multiple layers, especially if you want to protect some. But since I have a single layer in my layers panel, I'm going to turn that one off, and I'm just going to be working on the background from here on out. All right, just to the right, we have this other feature here. For the most part, I keep this one turned on. This one minimizes pixelation while protecting details. If I turn this off, it pretty much brings it back to the behavior of, let's say, I think around CS3 or previous versions. All right, so I'm going to increase my brush size again. And I'm just going to come over here on this meatball, click and drag. So I'm going to sharpen to a certain point. You're going to start seeing that some color is going to be introduced and my pixels are going to start crunching up a bit. All right, so let me zoom in on this so you can see the changes that have been made. All right, so this is the behavior of the Sharpen tool once you have that feature turned off. So I'm going to undo this by hitting Command Z. I'm going to come back over here to the options and turn this feature back on. So again, it's going to minimize the pixelation and it's going to protect detail. So when I click and drag, you're going to get this nice sharpen happening over here for your meatball. So this is the new behavior, and this is why I'm more likely to use the Sharpen tool. All right, the last option you have over here, when you turn this one on, this is actually going to be for you folks that are using pressure sensitive tablets. All right, because when you have this turned on, the amount of pressure that you use on your tablet is going to determine your brush size. If you have a tablet that does not have pressure sensitivity, it's basically going to go off of whatever information you have set in here. All right, so I'm going to turn this feature off. And then again, over here on the left, I'm going to right click on this icon to reset the tool back to how it was by default. I just like showing you guys that so that you could experiment with the tool and then bring it back to default if you make too many changes that you don't like. So there you have it, folks. That's a quick look at the Sharpen tool in Adobe Photoshop CC 2015.